Hey everyone, in this video we want to talk to you about being yourself, being authentic, not being formal. And by formal, we mean, having that mask over your face.
Yeah, like when people try to tell me not to use swear words in my writing on my blog. That
Yeah, I mean, that is one example of it, right?
they want me to be more formal and put
Yeah.
my mask on.
Yeah, and it's basically just, not being who you are because you want to appeal to the other person, even if it means being inauthentic to what you actually believe in
Yes.
and who you are as a person. And frankly, everyone does this because it's a part of life and social interactions. I think that there is a very strong evolutionary drive to do this because we're social creatures. We want other people to think of us in a positive way. And so that is motivation to act in ways that we perceive them, that we think they will perceive as being favorable.
But the problem there is that you are feeding a side of your ego and you attach like your identity with that mask.
Yeah.
And then you feel like shit when people don't accept you for that mask.
Yeah. Or alternatively, you become afraid of actually expressing yourself and being who you are at a core level.
Those people pleasers, right?
Yeah.
That's all a drive of the ego, though, anyways. It's not actually because they want to benefit another human. It's because they want to satisfy their own ego and feel worthy, and so they put the mask on.
And this can lead to resentment over time. I mean, just imagine.
Or depression. Like, there's so many things that lead to
it can lead to poor mental health quality of life, right? I mean, so yeah, just imagine that you're like, let's say working a job and you're always like saying and doing things to please your boss or other coworkers, and it'll get to a point where you're just like start resenting them because you're like, why am I always having to do this? Why is this always the reaction I get?
Way.
Like, and it's like, well, really, you kind of put yourself in that bubble by being fake, by
acting,
being formal and wearing that mask. And now it gets to a point where you're tired of wearing the mask and you start resenting people because they expect you to wear the mask. But the only reason they expected you to is because you were doing it by your own will for so long.
Well, I think a lot of people tell themselves they can't get a job, they can't do well in life unless they wear these masks, and that's not the truth.
No, not
at
all.
There's lots of opportunities out there, lots of jobs. Like, you chose to put the mask on because your parents told you you needed to wear a mask when you were little.
Yeah. Basically,
you
don't
to
need
sacrifice yourself.
Like, this is part of kind of finding out where you're at in life. Is you should be able to be your authentic self and still be able to accomplish the things that you want. Because the employers that you get, the friends that you get, the environment you cultivate is going to be fostered to who you are. And that's awesome because then you don't need to wear that mask and you can still get ahead.
Yeah, and your quality of life will be better.
Yeah, exactly.
You had a big issue with doing that in the beginning too, right? When we first met, wearing that mask for work.
Yeah, actually.
Specifically.
Yeah. Well, I did it for work, but I also did it with Briana because I was friends with Briana for a long time, and I knew the way she thought. She liked the way that I thought because we were very similar in that regard. And then when I first moved to New York to start dating her, I, in the beginning, was kind of wearing this mask of not being as abrasive or upfront as I actually am. And to be honest, that had its advantages in the beginning because something that we've talked about in other videos is trauma that comes up. And so wearing the mask helped me help her overcome this trauma that she had from her childhood. And so it did play a role. It was advantageous. And what we're saying in this video is not that wearing a mask has no advantages. it certainly can be
I
helpful.
do think that it's not helpful for the person on a long-term mental health level whatsoever.
That's what we're trying to say. Wearing a mask.
When you're walking through life operating from your ego and not your higher self exclusively, which is what you were doing when you were people pleasing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And you did it with your ex-boss too all the time. Like, worse than with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And the goal, like, so again, wearing a mask has advantages. I mean, to be perfectly blunt, very, very successful business individuals are going to be who they are, but they're going to know when to put on masks in order to seal business deals and in order to manipulate how other people think so that they can get ahead.
It's a form of manipulation, and that's why I don't think it's authentic.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it has advantages in life, but it's not a state that you want to be operating in all the time.
Yeah, you know? And when you start undoing this, it causes a lot of anxiety to tell people how you really feel because you've spent years. Like, I mean, I was there too. I would say probably 7 or 8 years ago. I was stuck in that state from childhood on to then. And then I realized that I was never going to be happy. And so that's when I started breaking down those walls and telling. I mean, I've always had a little bit more of a confrontational personality, but meaning that I tell people what I feel instead of lying.
Yeah.
But it definitely, like, I will not do it now. Like, I won't work a job. I will not compromise my own mental health for someone else's comfort ever again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it does cause a lot of anxiety when we break these patterns.
Yeah, because it's new territory for you, even if it's the territory that is going to be ideal for you, right? Change is always anxiety provoking because we like routine.
And eventually, if we practice conveying our true, authentic selves enough, it will become second nature. And your core beliefs, your true core beliefs can come out.
Yeah, exactly.
And be your new, I guess it would be a mask, but not really a mask, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, the next time you feel like kind of being, I don't know, fake or wearing that mask in front of someone or in some situation, just, ask yourself, what am I afraid of happening if I'm authentic and I'm my true self? Why do I feel the need to do this? What am I afraid of happening? And, maybe you'll realize that your fears are misguided and you should be yourself. So,
exactly.
Yeah. If you like the content of this video, then awesome. That's what we're trying to do. And if you know someone who you think the information in this video would benefit, then please share it with them.
Bye.
Thanks.